Afternoon world, it is, look at the watch, Tuesday 17th of March 2020. Lambing has started. We haven't got that many to do, but it has started. It came early, we weren't ready. We are now catching up. There is news. So today's video will involve working with lambs, processes we go through with the lambs. We've had a few tragedies, and unfortunately we've lost a lamb. A ewe decided to go to sleep on one of our lambs and crushed it. Nothing we could do about that, it just happened. And we've lost a ewe. So in this video there is an image of something that's no longer breathing. So those of you with smaller kids who watch the channel, that maybe watch this first, go through it, because there are a few fairly harsh-ish truths in this video. Stuff that I think people ought to know, but you as adults and parents or whatever else are responsible should maybe on this one just watch it first and then decide whether it's up for your kids, because we don't make videos for kids. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get on with it. Edit this thing. I love this job. So, more joys of keeping sheep. Abbi unfortunately can't have any time off from work. Wasn't able to book it, so I have to take on daycare of our little tiny flock. You will have noticed from the first and second video that the one ewe was not very well. The ewe that Abbi had to lamb, she wasn't very well. From the very beginning, something wasn't right about her. We thought it was calcium deficiency, which is basically like milk fever or twin lamb disease. That's what we thought it was, and we treated her for that. She wasn't really responding, and I said to the vet, could it be GID? Because the symptoms were similar, and it has since now been decided that GID is what she had. So GID is basically a tapeworm. We have quite a few people walking their dogs up and down through the farm here. A lot of them pick up being their dog, not everybody does, and I'm not saying it was definitely a dog messing in our field that gave it to her. It could have come from another wild animal, but I'm a farmer and I like to blame the dog walkers. Anyway, so a tapeworm can go one of two ways in the gut. It can either get into the gut and end up being a 6 foot long worm that basically drains all energy from the animal's gut and brings them down, or it can actually do something else. It can actually develop into a worm that goes into their head and affects the brain. I kid you not. And we believe that that was her problem. I've only ever seen it here once before. So basically what happens is she was fitting. She'd be fine for 5-10 minutes, happily eating, talking to her lambs, whatever else, and then all of a sudden she'd go rigid. Her head would either turn left and she'd start staring and she'd start shaking, or she'd start trying to turn in the pen, and it was just like a fit. But it got bad yesterday, where she actually went down and never got back up again. So we treated everything we could for it, but unfortunately this morning we went down, the ewe is dead. So now I'm now mummy. Facts of life with sheep is they die, and you'll see her when we walk down in a minute. We've now got to arrange for the local kennels to come and pick her up. So instead of having a perfectly healthy sheep that can rear 2 lambs, we now have a dead sheep that I'm going to have to pay £30-35 to the kennels to take away, to dispose of, and quite possibly, not definitely, quite possibly because somebody who walks dogs didn't pick up behind them. And that is it. If you're walking footpaths anywhere in the country and you're walking across different people's land, whatever else, your dogs eat stuff. they pick stuff up, they eat it. Whether it's they eat a bit of grass, or they find something delicious, they go and eat it, or they go and roll in something and then try and clean themselves off later on. They can pick stuff up, they get it in their gut. Leptospirosis is another thing dogs can carry, so, and that actually causes abortion in cows. So we've had 2 abortions here in 20-30 years. So it's not been terrible. Leptospirosis, again, not definitely down to a dog, because wild animals carry it as well. But if you walk your dog in the country, can you keep it on a lead, even if there's no livestock in the field? Okay, there's no livestock in the field today, but there might be tomorrow. Your dog leaves its message, that can have repercussions for months afterwards. Okay, so walking in the country, if you're walking across fields that are arable, where there's corn and stuff like that, well, maybe, no, not so bad. But anywhere where there's livestock, if you can keep your dog on a lead, stay on the footpath, on the path, and that's 4 foot wide, not the whole field. I mean, the footpath isn't from that hedge over there to that hedge over there, it's 4 foot wide. A footpath is wide enough for 2 blokes to carry a coffin. Sorry, 4 blokes to carry a coffin. That's how wide a footpath is. And pick up behind your dog. Pick it up. If you can't be bothered to put it in a bag, at least chuck it in the hedge, somewhere where the livestock or the worm can't get out of it. You know, you're not infecting stuff. So anyway, that's a little bit of a rant. That goes anywhere in the world, by the way, not just in the UK. Keep your dogs on a lead, whether there's livestock out there or not. On arable or upon woodland or something like that, if you want to let your dog run free, that's kind of a bit different. But on where there's animals, just keep on a lead, please. So, and it means I won't have to be doing this, and 2 little lambs won't be without their mum. Right, okay, come on, let's go. A lovely bit of weather again. Okay, well, there she is, poor old thing, and lo and behold, the ravens found her already. The eyeball is already gone. Well, raven, magpie, something. A corvid has had her. So, and look what I just found. Abs, we've got 2 new lambs. And they're fine. Okay, well that's 2 good ones to look after. That's happened in the last hour. That's the sort of thing we like to find. So, you haven't cleansed yet. She can look after them for a minute. I'm going to take care of these guys in here. Right then, who's first? So we've actually we lost the ewe, but because all of these lambs have been getting a bit, she's only got 1/4. All of the lambs have been on bottled milk as well. They kind of all smell similar. So we've left them, we put all 3 in with her, as much as anything else, to keep them warm. So, although I'm saying that, she's not overly keen on them all. So we know which one is hers because it's the one with the stripe on her back. But they're all hungry. So that one eats well, that one eats well. The one with no spot on him at all doesn't eat as well. So he's going first. If I can catch him. You can have the old bottle, because the teat's a little bit softer. All right, this way. Here you go. There you go. So this will be the first feed this lamb's going to have, which is a cold mix. Up to now they've been having warm milk, but I've just been to Mole Valley and bought a bottle rack so that I can actually ad lib feed these lambs now. So and I've also bought heat lamp and other stuff, and a bag of potatoes when I was in there as well. So the idea now is we'll set up a system that the lambs can feed themselves ad lib as and when they want. We can put up to 4 bottles in a rack. They can help themselves once they get used to finding the bottle. In a minute, you Guts, look, he knows what the bottle is. He wants it. So, this, like I said, this is the first cold feed they have, and I want to make sure that they'll take it cold. And the best way is to do it by hand for the first time. So to train them to go onto the bottle, we'll take a little bit of time and perseverance, but in the long run it will save time. So if you have all 400 mil, that'd be Abby. I've just sent her a photograph of those two lambs over there. Oh good, what are they? Well, the lambs, you daft moo. So she hates it when stuff goes on here with the sheep and she's not here. She'll now be there going, well, no, there'll be questions flying backwards and forwards now. No, what sex are they? Are they all right? Has she cleansed yet? Are they clean yet? Have you dipped the navel? Have you specced them? Blah, 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 blah. It's a case of, all in good time, we'll feed this one first. There is a ram lamb and a ewe lamb. So there you are, Abs. They know before you do. Ram lamb and a ewe lamb. So those of you out there going, oh look, isn't it sweet, feeding the lamb. Not every 2 hours, it's not. Not when you've got stuff to do. Mind you, saying that, with this Corvid virus thing going on, I got a funny feeling our phone's going to go very quiet on the tree work side. In saying that, we just had a job come in, a repeat job, so it's not dead yet, but I might be glad of something to do for long. You enjoying that? How long can you sit there and watch a lamb eating, drinking milk? So according to the timer, he's been on this 4 minutes now. And you've had, haven't done too bad, 200 mils. Do you want to go back in? And old Guts there can have a bit. You can always have a top up in a minute. Come on, Guts. Oh, no. There you go. Here you go. You've got to find it. Open your gob. Open your gob. I know it's cold. They've got to be used to use cold stuff because if they're having it ad lib, they can't have it warm. So no need to tickle his bum. Sometimes if a lamb don't want to suck, sometimes you just tickle his bum. It's the same as a ewe. Licking the lamb, it stimulates them. Sometimes you could just make them suck a bit harder. So you don't actually need that big part. Yes, it's yours. We dock our lambs and any castrations with rubber rings. Ideally you want to do it before they're 3 days old. I mean, the sooner the better really, but because these had a bit of a poor start and we wanted them up on their feet, we've left them an extra day. So yeah, so we'll tail these lambs perhaps as well in a minute, and I'll tell you about that soon. In the meantime, I'll just sit here and bugger off, bloody ravens. Problem is a raven, there's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is shout at him and wave my arms at him. If it's a crow or a magpie or something, I can give him 2 barrels of a shotgun. But a raven, I can't touch him. And I reckon he knows it. The thing is, I don't want to cover that carcass. I don't want him down here because he'll be in here next, taking the eyeballs from my lambs. So those of you who don't know about ravens and what they do, and know big, pretty, clever birds that live in the Tower of London, they are clever. They are big, pretty cruel. So ravens will take the eyes and the tongue from lambs as they're being born. So even before they've actually got out, when the ewe is down and pushing her lamb out and helpless, raven will come along behind and he'll literally take both eyes and the tongue out of the lamb before it's even out of the ewe. And that's why farmers don't like them, because it's cruel. If you get a weak lamb out on the ground and it's separated from them, they'll go and they'll take it. So a weak lamb outside, again, they'll take eyes, tongue, then they'll go for the navel and they'll get in through there. This is all while the lamb's alive, mind. They'll go in through here and they'll pull his insides out, and they'll just keep going until he's dead. So bigger sheep that don't have a navel, eyes, tongue, and they go in from under the tail and they'll pull it all out through the backside. So yeah, ravens, lovely creatures, and everybody should protect them because they're lovely. You tell the lambs that. That's two rants in one video. I better find a third one. So, right, on that note, I'm going to feed another lamb and then we'll sort them out. Alright, I might like them a little bit, but not much. Well, that's almost a litre of milk between the three of them. I've actually chucked number one back out for a minute. I want to clean the pen out, so he'll be right out with his mum. I'll put a ring on in a minute. You go and lie down in the corner for half an hour while he's thinking, why is my tail hurting a bit? You nearly done? You want some more? You just spat it out. You told me you didn't want any more. You changed your mind, did you? Right. Your back teeth are overflowing. Go on then. So do you want it or not? I think that's a yes. Not really though, is it? You only want it because he wanted it, didn't you? Right, Tiddler? Right. Right, let's get and clean these out. Next job, disinfection. Right, so for disinfection we use this stuff. It's a pretty potent disinfectant and I should be wearing lots of PPE using it, but I'm not, and you can spray it off as much as you want. It's my decision. I'm not wearing all the PPE, so I'm only going to use a splash, and literally all we do is we mix a bit in the watering can with the rose and just scatter it on the floor of the pen, wall and sides, just to kill off any bugs that are in there. Leave it for half an hour to evaporate and then I can put lambs back in. So there you go, that's what I'm going to do. That can go on dry for half an hour. She's happy with her lamb over there. I'll put some clean bedding in there and then they can go back in. I forgot how harsh the rose was on that thing, so probably a fairly high dose gone in there. I'll let it dry. A lot of people use lime. I've always been, I don't know, lime and eyes. It's easy to scatter a bit of dry lime in there, and yeah, it's a good disinfectant, but I would hate for them to get it in their eyes. So this way, I just literally put it in wet, half an hour, evaporation, clean bed, back in again. That's the plan. So while we're waiting for that, shall we do some tails? I'll go through the tails. So, why do we take sheep's tails off, or lamb's tails off? Why do we do it? Well, there's a really good reason why we do it, and it is actually for the welfare of the animal. There's nothing about being cruel or getting some gratuitous pleasure out of doing it. It's nothing like that. If any of you have ever seen a sheep with fly strike, basically in the summer, when they get hot and sweaty, they become irresistible to blowflies. And if they're mucky, they become doubly irresistible to blowflies. And what will happen is, if there's a patch of muck on a sheep, and the best place to catch muck is on his tail, blowflies will come and lay eggs in it. Eggs will hatch, maggots will emerge, maggots will eat the sheep alive. So for those folks out there who think taking lamb's tails off is cruel, it's not, I promise you. It is the kindest thing we can do for them. It can prevent untold suffering, distress, veterinary death. It's just for the sake of half an hour maybe of discomfort of this little ring on their tail. yes, I wouldn't want it on me. I wouldn't. But if I'd had that put on me when I was 3 days old, do you reckon I'd remember it? I don't reckon you'd remember it. So yeah, it is by far the kindest way of doing it. Tails are easy. We have got one ram lamb now, so not in this video but another video I will go through using the rubber ring to for castration. I will put a warning up on that video because that's what I'm going to do, and anybody who's a little bit squeamish or fainty might not want to watch that, but it is fairly quick, and if I get it right, all they're going to do is go and lie down in the corner for half an hour, kicking their feet, going ow, and that's it. So there's no bleating and screaming and crying or whatever else. It's not a goat. All right, goats will bleat and scream and cry it. Even got to show them a needle and they'll have a fit. Lambs are a bit different. So anyway, these are all ewe lambs, so all I've got to do with these is literally just their tails. So there's the pliers. I will load. These things are quite clever. They just stretch the ring. Ring goes on. Come here, little chap. Here. Okay, so it's a little girl, so I've got to leave the tail long enough to cover her little girl bits. Okay. Done. Another little girl. Your turn. Come on. Stood up. Again, tail's got to be left long enough that it can cover your little girl bits. There you go. Job done. No screaming, no complaining, no nothing. Okay? Obviously there's going to be a little bit of discomfort, and I'm sorry for that, but it's a lot better than the alternative. She's carrying her front left foot. That ewe is cleansed, so we'll go and get rid of that. So basically when the ewe's had her lambs, up to an hour afterwards, she will then expel the rest of the uterine linings. So, and that's what this is. Yeah, so that needs to go out. We don't want that staying in here because there's always a chance of a bit of an infection with that. That can go in there where my dogs can't find it, because there's not many things dogs like more than cleansings. Thing is, Mrs. P's kitchen floor doesn't like it very much the next day, if you know what I mean. So, right, the tiddler. So yeah, so no real adverse reaction to putting a ring on the tail. Literally within an hour, they will have forgotten, because the blood supply has basically been cut off. The tail will now die, and in about 6-8 weeks it'll fall off out in the field, hopefully, and then Mr. Fox will come along and go, yummy. So you missed that, you were skipping about then. So there you go. So that ring's been on her for 5 minutes. So do you reckon that's upset? Nah. Little boys, a little bit different, because taking them off, that is a little bit more, and you do have to be careful with that. So, and I don't actually like these very much. I'm going to go, and these are brand new, because we lost our old pair, and Abby got me a new pair, but these prongs are too long, and the thing is, and they're sharp on the edge. And the problem with these being too long and sharp on the edge, it takes longer to remove the pliers from the ring. And that's the bit that hurts, is when you're actually applying it and then getting the pliers off. That's the bit that causes them distress. My old pliers are rounded rather than square on the end, and they're not quite so long. I can do it a lot faster. So see, newer isn't always better. And I think the old ones are actually in the Mustang. Oi, nosy. I had to put that bit of rope on there yesterday because one of them decided to jump over. Little tinker. Now they scratch their heads on it. Okay, so we got little lambs outside here. Nothing I can do in here. I need to leave bedding out of there for a minute because the Fam 30, I kind of need that to dry. Once that's dried off there, I don't want anything sort of licking that or whatever else. Not that it'd do them any real harm, but there's no need. There's no rush. I will come down. I'm going to have a cup of tea now. I'll come down in half an hour, put fresh bedding in there, fresh water. Mrs. You with her 2 new lambs can go in there. Those 2 lambs are going to go back in. I'm going to make this pen smaller. I'm going to hang a heat lamp in there because apparently we're going to get some cold weather. And so, yeah. I'm kind of making this up as I go along. So I thought Abby was having the week off and she was doing all this, but she can't. So I'm doing it. I don't mind. We're a team. Right then. You're a tiddler. That's not your lamb. You belong to her. There you go. That's it. Thing is, she's come to find that lamb now, which means she's left her other lamb over there. But don't worry, they're all numbered. I'll put them back together. Not a problem. There we go. Net. 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 So they both had some milk, some colostrum, which I'm happy about, so now they're going to get a little squirt of this. Oh, sorry. Not going to taste quite the same. It's a good little lamb. You got an intro, don't you? And that side. Check them later on. Actually, while we're here. So we used to use a cup for this. The problem with a cup is when the lambs kick, you could end up with iodine in your face. So some people won't agree. I'm going straight in the bottle. Very good fella. If you've ever had iodine kicked in your eye, you'll understand. Right, so that's pen cleaned, disinfected, clean bedding in there. New lambs have had their spectam, they've had the iodine. They're both sucked from the ewe, they're both quite happy. Other 2 lambs that unfortunately have lost their mum are now going to be just orphan lambs. I have been out and bought a 4-bottle holder because what you really don't want with orphan lambs is to get them so used to people that they won't leave you alone. So I want them to associate with sheep, not people, because orphan lambs, as cute as they are a right royal pain in the donkey. So, okay. All quiet down here for a minute. I've just been and bought some course mix, so I think we'll get and unload that. And then I'll have a cup of coffee again.